The main message of my presentation, if anything can forget, except me, one thing I want you to remember, that people lie and proof doesn't. And this is the most important thing that, that I learned from this accident. And this is one thing that I really want you to remember. And today I want to get through with you with some facts about truth. So what is important about lying, that this is some kind of, like, it's a fact about human condition. Like Nietzsche said, lying is a human condition, and it's like, it's survival mechanism. It's a social glue. We're so gentle as a human. We would never be able to survive if constantly everybody was telling us the truth. Last year, we've been in the Cannes with my husband, and he has a talk with Halle Berry. So then I asked him, who do you think is more pretty, me or Halle Berry? Well, do you think I expect him to tell the truth? No. And he's smart enough to know that it's not why I'm asking this. So we do not prepare for the whole truth. So now I'm going to check how good lie. Oh, God, I don't feel comfortable here. Like if it's going to break another backbone, I'm not ready for this. I'm going to check if you're natural liars, if you're good in it. Because we're all working in marketing, so it's important, actually, skill. So I'm happy we all agree. So close your eyes for a second and remember that I can see you. So actually when you're cheating, I will see it from here. So close your eyes for a second. Close your eyes. And now with your right hand on your forehead, please write a letter Q. Q like question. Just write it down with your finger. Q like question. Yeah. And now open your eyes and tell me who wrote Q on the left side with this tail, on the left. Who wrote this? This is big bravo for these people, natural liars. Natural great liars, which is amazing. I had to train, and you were born this way, which is excellent quality in our industry. So it's always better to be natural than not natural. So people are liars, and this is also a very simple fact about who we are. If you can please change, I have with a slide problem, like it's late for one slide. By the time children are 4, they already learn deception, and they do, like probably if you have children, you know that much earlier than 4, they're actually lying to you. But at 4, they can do it already consciously. If they want something, they want to deceive you, and they're already aware of this. The reason why it's happening like this, because lying is a survival mechanism. It had to survive for us, so in order we can function well. So that's why it's so important. So that's why, as you all know, people lie about different things. And some lie about whatever happens in their life, and because it's important for them to, you know what, you need to fix it because it's not working with my slides. Please. What is the chance of detecting lie? How do you think? Who think you're a great liar? Hands up. Who think you would like you will catch your partner on cheating on you? Anybody? Well, here I know that you're either very bad in this or lying to me, because statistically every 3rd person is cheating. So, in this, I could even tell who is cheating on me right now. The reason why I'm not going to do it, because apparently when you're cheating at work, it's not really cheating. So that's why we're going to leave it alone. I see you agree. Great. So it's not only all Bollywood, you know, pink and blurry. So how much is a chance of detecting lie? Who thinks it's 80% for us? 80%, great. Who thinks you'll be able to cheat it like to 80, 70? So what about the rest? Do you think it's 0? You cannot do it? 20? 30. This is beautiful about India, that you're so modest, you know? Like, seriously, because it's literally the first time happened to me, because every time I ask her, it's like 100%, 100, maybe 95. So, and it's amazing because it's also such a big male audience. It's usually 100%. So, thanks God, we know that you're very modest. So chances of detecting a lie is 54% if you're not trained. Just to put you in a perspective, 54% it also has chance, when you flip the coin, you know how much chance you have to guess? 50%. 54% is also how much chimpanzee is guessing about lies. So that's why why some monkeys are getting promoted much faster in a company. I think Manny agrees with this one also. So now I want to tell you why lies are so persistent. Who of you have children? Many of you. So the first rule to, let's say, train your child, you need to be super consistent. It's not like you can say, once you can say, don't do it, then twice you're going to say, oh, that's okay. So he's going to keep doing it. So you need to be super, super consistent. And problem with the lying is that only 1 in 7 lies are being discovered, which means 6 times you go away with this. 6 times you're not being punished with this. If 6 times for something doing bad you're not punished, you don't think it's really bad. And that's unfortunately the truth about lying. So that's why it's so important that 70% of liars say, I'm going to lie, even after they're just being caught. And this is what's so important here. So some cynical psychologists, not me, some psychologists, but not very cynical, they believe that the only reason why marriages can survive because we are so bad in lie detecting. I see you also agree with this. It's just pure science, it's not my opinion. Unfortunately, also science proved that if you're very close with each other, first of all, you lie much more than to the stranger, because big lies we say for people we love the most. And then chances of detecting lie for the person, complete stranger, and person who you know very close increases just 10%. Which is not very much, as you know. So you can live with somebody forever, and then we say, oh, I don't know who you are. We don't know because we're not curious enough, and we don't know much about psychology of lies. Another thing is that it was fascinating about lies. 80% of people believe that lie in their CV. 20 is probably priest or unemployed. That's why they don't have CV. The most fascinating, it's not even that they lie, that they believe that they should lie. And if you be honest with yourself, this is how you actually do it, because if you tell the truth and you think convention is to lie, then you think, well, somebody will think that I'm not that good in something because we will deduct 25%, so I'm going to be worse than really I am. So you just increase this 25%. And it just makes sense. What's more, 90% lies on the interviews. For the same exactly the reason. And what's more, HR people, when they do research, they believe this is how it should be. They do believe that everybody lies, but they still trust more CV than, I don't know, checking recommendation, for example. Another thing that is very important, that 98% of people lie on their dating sites. Anybody using dating sites? No, I see full of people who I can trust. Come on. I checked some statistics for Tinder in India, so I know you're using this. And so good news is that 2% are drama queens or perfect people. So perfection does exist. That's also great. And, women and men lying about almost the same. The same because it connects with numbers, but they're different numbers. So now, let's guess what numbers are men lying about. Age? No, age for men? Come on. Height? Yes. And what? No. Maybe Indians. Generally, no. And? Income. Exactly. Bravo. You do know a lot about men. Probably happy marriage, huh? Yay. Yes, this is what men lying about. Income and how tall they are. What women are lying about? Age, we do from our weight. It's exactly what women are lying about. So, and still we do somehow trust this kind of a website. Statistics show that women and men lying exactly the same amount. So it's not true that any of genders lies more, but they do lie for the different reasons. Women lie, and it's again, I want to highlight that it's no judgment here. It's no, any of this reason is better or worse. They're just the way they are. So women lie to protect, and they often, also women has this kind of thing that was for me fascinating. 80% of women believe in beneficial lying. So 80% saying that they leave lie anyway. So they say, I lie in marriage, I lie if I have orgasm, I lie that I love my children all the time. So if I lie all the time, why not this one more time about my shopping? So they just don't think it's something bad, they believe that it's good. And marketing, great example who used this insight. There is a website in Poland with the shoes. As you know, women do love shoes. But I don't think it's only women. My husband loves shoes as much as me. So you buy your shoes, and in the end, it asks you, do you want a real receipt or receipt for your husband reduced 50%? And so is it a lie or not? So, but it's great insight using how women think. And what is important here, no judgments here. It's not, if you're going to judge, this is for marketers, the word's going to come to you. You need to accept human as a package. We are as we are, and we cannot get any better in this moment. So why men are lying? Men lying to build a status. And that is important for them. And again, no judgments here. Men are lying on average 8 times more in a conversation when they talk about themselves than about anybody else. So generally, as you know, men tend to use a little bit I more in conversation than we or she. So that's how men are usually lying. So the summary of this, what I want to say, that people are liars. And people, and especially in marketing, we do have to be aware of this, because as a researcher and as a strategist, for me, it's always amazing how we don't understand why actually people are lying and ask them still silly questions like, how do you choose this coffee on the shelf? Like, how is he supposed to know if it's this completely irrelevant for him? We do not have self-awareness. Like, we train self-awareness when we decide to. But it's not about coffee or juice or anything on the shelf, because we don't care as a people. Here was a panel before. All the time, everybody, we're using the word consumers. Do you really think anybody, including you, do you describe yourself as your main role as a consumers? Anybody say, I'm Julia, I'm a consumer? No, that would be insane. So that's why, if we ask this kind of question, we presume that this is an important role for him, to be consumer of your coffee. He really don't care. Your emergency is not his emergency. Your problem is not his problem. He just wants what he wants. So asking this kind of question, of course he will answer you something, because he don't want to be silly that he does not know. And that's why we provoke these lies. Another reason why people lie, because believe it or not, people do not have imagination. We don't. So asking, what would you make better in this company? Well, how does he know? He knows what to make better for him, and he will tell you. But generally, it's not his job. You are hired as a HR people, so like you do your job. You cannot ask like, what would you do better in the ad? Like, first of all, it's not beauty context. Like, the question is irrelevant. But then, it's not his job to make this ad better. It's your job, so don't ask him this. You need to ask very precise questions in order to get precise information so you can actually change it. So asking humans who do not have imagination to imagine something is insane. It's just provoking lies. Bad memory. Again, our memory is very, very flawed. We are not very good at memorizing stuff. So when we ask, I think we did like 90% of the banks, maybe even 100%. We did all banks possible in Poland, because they cannot afford any lies, because, very competitive environment. And very often we do about mortgages. And we usually, when we do research, we recruit people who took mortgages no later than 3 weeks ago. No later. So memory should not be that bad. If anybody of you taking mortgage, it's like one of the worst process I personally ever experienced, so really, really bad. And then we ask them, what is important for you when you take mortgage? What do you think people say? They probably can guess, like percentage, how much you get, conditions, how you can change, currency, like whatever, like very reasonable things. And this is the worst thing about lying, because it's reasonable. We don't have to, we don't question this. And it sounds like it's true, and this is the worst type of lying because we believe in it. So when we do this research about mortgages, we always do it at home, always. And then we say, well, if that is important, so what is exactly percentage on your mortgage is? They're telling us this percentage, and then we tell, can you show us the documents? The one that you sign up. Never, in 13 years of existence of these companies, 13 years, every single year we do this kind of at least 2-3 research. Even one person did not say precisely what kind of percentage are on their mortgages. Never. And that's why we know they want to be reasonable. Everybody wants to be reasonable. So how can I admit that as reasonable as I am, for me it's important to look you in the eyes and you look like you're going to take care of me. And it's a lot of money. So I want somebody who will say, if anything bad happens, I'll tell you. Don't worry. I'll trust you more than somebody who'll just gonna, bullshit me about some numbers and like calculations, because I don't understand this. So people have bad memory, people protect the ego, and we just all the time believing the lies because we ask the wrong question and we want to trust them because it's comfortable for us. And this is one of the worst things can happen because we trust focus groups, we believe them. Anybody of you doing focus groups? Hands up. Well, you're very shy or you're lying, or you're extremely advanced people already in marketing. In Poland, it's still very popular. As you know, 80% of all products who get through focus groups successfully fail within 6 months. It's a fact. It's, again, not opinion. It's a fact. 80% failure rate is like 8 times when you try to turn on your light, you will be electric shocked. 8 times out of 10. And we still do it because it's comfortable, because it's easy, because we can control it. And it's like human zoo, and we do enjoy it, So that's why I as a strategist, I work in Havas and DDB, and what connects me with creative people, that I also hate research. And I'm telling you as a person who runs a research agency, I do hate research, the research that is based on a bad assumption how to do this research. But there is just one thing that is worse than no research at all, is bad research. A bad research is the one when we have question and we have sign up for the research that is almost telling the truth, that is almost confirms our reality. And more than anything, it just pets our ego, and that's it. So this is one of the worst research. Why am I so obsessed about truth? Because in every brief, we have insight, right? We all the time talk about insights. And insight, traditional definition is truth about human nature. Well, somebody not agree with this definition? No? Well, I hope you don't agree, because it's not enough to be truth about human nature. It has to be something more. It has to be some sparkles about this, some butterflies in your stomach for you to consider that it is an insight. But it always based on a truth. So if you want to have insight, if you're looking for insight, there is no other option. You need to look for truth. And the reason why I want to stop a little bit talking about insights is because I want to show you how much things are not insight that we believe are insight, and they're used so common. For example, eating together is for family bonds. Who of you have children below 4 years old? And when did the last time you had romantic dinner with your partner? Well, who of you have teenagers, son or daughter? Well, you know how much they hate you when you make them eat with you. They hate you. Like, we know because we do research about this. So we know, like, the thing that they want the most for you to bring something for him to eat when he has, working on his computer, something that does not put crunches on his computer and cannot spill out. And this is when he's happy. So it does not reinforce his family bonds. But we still do ads about this because it's also a nice image. It's just nice. But is it true? It is not true. Another thing that I very like is all women are beautiful. Well, you from Bollywood know the best that it's not true. Not all women are beautiful. Like, is it any woman here who is looking on her cellulite? Because let's be honest, most of us not all have it, and say, wow, how beautiful. Anyone? I hate it. It's not all women are beautiful. We, as a psychologist, can tell you, we cannot choose what we like. We can choose how we behave with what we like, but we cannot choose what we like. My assistant usually saying, I like broccoli, but not enough to eat them. The same like with everything what is around. Like we cannot choose it. So it is a lie that all women are beautiful. They're not all beautiful, and that's okay. So why is it so important? Because truth about this, it's not like we're trying to convince women that whoever we see is beautiful, which is they know that it's true, so they know that it's appealing image, but any of you would say, wow, one day I hope to look like one of these women. That's why I'm going to buy this product. What we should teach and should put in our insights is that we should not let women think that their cellulite connected with their brain. That Marie Curie Skłodowska was not a very attractive woman, but she won 2 Nobel Prizes, and she was extremely popular among men in her age. Because her sex appeal was her brain. And this is what we should do, not all this bullshit how women are beautiful. Another thing that I absolutely love, dogs are best friends. Who has a view dog? Anybody? So you know it's a lot of trouble. You know, it costs a lot of money. He's getting sick. He vomits. You need to take it, right? It's a lot of trouble. Well, why would you have it if it's not your best friend? It's a simple observation and fact. Like when you have a bad day, the boss was not nice to you, client was not nice to you, your children are not nice to you. You come home and the only person who is happy is your dog. No question asked, no complaints, nothing. Of course it's your best friend. Like, why would it not be your best friend, right? So it's not an insight, it's a fact. And it's very different that in marketing we differentiate facts from insights, observation from insight. It has to be sparkly truth so we can call it insight. Otherwise it's just, unfortunately, trash in, trash out. And here we're not going to change it. Like this is how it works. And now I'm going to present you a couple of real cases, how we work on it. So I hope that from the way how I'm going to describe how we handle this in the company, maybe you can apply some of these things in your companies, demand it from your research agency, or demand it for your advertising agency, because it's important if you want to have epic work, because epic work does bring epic results, that you demand more. First is shoe lie. It was our great client who had a shoe company. And he had a problem. Unfortunately, what problem I have in my company, that we are being perceived as James Bond of research. So when people just start, sometimes, we're just going to go focus groups. It's like simple, easy, fast. Wow, we're going to do it. And then they have a problem, and then they call us. And then we have to fix it. So here it was the same. We were like fixer, not like coin, but like fixers. And the problem was that suddenly, unexpectedly, the shoe sales dropped, but like dramatically. And they did not really see any reason why it happened, so they did research, and the research showed things that did make sense. They showed that its competitors are just better, like it's more competition also, that it's very weak brand because competitors have a lot of ads, so they need also to work on it. And third thing, that it's very difficult market because it's recession, because it's again online sales, so it's a difficult market. And so what they did of course advertising. And they spent really a lot of money for such a not too big shoe company. And the worst thing, that it did not work. At all. Hopefully it never happened to you, but sometimes you do spend a lot of money and you see no results. And company is not Santa Claus. It has to earn money. This is why we do advertising, right? It's not to be liked. It's not to put on your, on your shelf a word. It has to work. It means you have to sell and you have to earn money. So when that's not working, it was really not a great for them solution, this advertising. So they asked us to do research and to check what happened. So instead of doing focus groups on any other traditional methods like surveys or asking just people, what we did, we decided to look how people buy shoes. And we started not even from the so-called end customers, but we went because what they have a problem that people who are buying for the shops like stop buying them. So if you don't have any shop, how can you buy it? So we have to start from the bottom. So we went on a wholesale place, and we were just looking at how people choosing shoes for the shops. And that was the amazing thing happened because you probably, if you now after I tell you, possibly you're going to do absolutely the same, or you're doing the same when you're buying your shoes. So when people choosing the shoes, they were sniffing them first. And it was natural, automatical reaction. So small, it's such a gesture that it's not like they're like, my shoes. But they just like small thing that they're sniffing it. So the truth was that the smelly glue of the shoes was connected with the poorly made shoe. And it was very strong connection. I don't know how it's in India, but in Poland, everything that perceived that is made in China, perceived as the worst quality. Is it the same here? Yeah, so we do prefer when it's made in India. Well, we could not change production with India, but it was very easy. We would say, well, we just need to change glue. And that is easy. So they changed it. It cost no money at all. So it was easy in factory to change. We changed it in glue. Zero cost involved. But they had 2 million pair of shoes in stock. So we said, like, we need to find a solution how to sell these 2 million pairs, because it's a lot of pairs of shoes. And again, we did another research when we went to people's houses and talked about their shoes. Which one they love the most, which one they cherish the most, when they saw that it's expensive shoes, not expensive. And we discovered a couple of things. One of the things that is top number one, when it's not like super famous brand, obviously, is that it has this special box that is open not like this, but like this. You know what I'm talking about? Well, producing this box is very expensive. It's like around, compared to the other box, it's like 12 times more expensive. So it was out of question. They're not going to do this box. Then they're going to give us a couple of gadgets to test. And all the gadgets were from 50 cents to like $2 to produce. And all of them were okay. But then we find one thing that cost just 10 cents. Do you know what it is? Are you very shy today? So what do you think? It was shoelaces. Shoelaces. If you have second shoelaces, you think like, wow, this is such a good pair. It means it's going to last so long that I'm going to change it because it's like it's such a good shoe. And that cost 10 cents. So the thing what we did, we just changed perception. So for the smelly shoes, we add extra shoelaces, and that's it. And this is how we sold 2 million pairs. And then we were just waiting till the whole company is going to switch on it. So the reason why I'm telling you is, you see, it's a very simple solution. It costs much less than advertising. So that you know, I'm very pro-advertising. My husband is creative director, so I do love advertising. But he's doing effective one. So what is important here, that we have to stop taking out people from their not natural environment and go to their natural environment. And stop calling them consumers. Like, look at them as the people who at this moment doing what they're doing. And that's it. That is very important thing. And sometimes we find a solution that costs us nothing. It's like very cheap or nothing. And the most expensive part probably was our research here. So again, people lie, proof doesn't. What you have to do, if you don't have proof, is just a set of words that everybody can say. Whatever agency delivers you need to check if they have proof that what had happened actually really happens, or it's just declaration, it's just words. So that's why one of the things that I encourage you to do, stop asking for, stop asking consumers for solutions. They're not there to tell you what to do. You're there to tell what to do. You are getting paid for finding solutions. You are getting paid to make things done. They are not responsible for this. You are responsible for looking what is good for them, what is bad for them, how is the mindset constructed, and what do they really want, and then make decision. You're responsible for finding the truth and then do something about this truth, not asking consumers for solutions. And that is like absolutely crucial that we stop doing, because when we do in focus groups or a mystery shopper or surveys, we're asking them for solution, what do we have to do? It's not their job. In other cases, one of my favorites, it's loan lie. we did, for one of our clients, we did research. We did first a research with a focus group about the new loan. And it seems fine. It was not mind-blowing loan, but the people said, like, well, it's good enough. Like, if I need it and it's my bank, I definitely would take it. And it's all good. It's all good. And then the problem that they have, as soon as they launch it, it completely did not sell. Like nothing. And you know what it means if it does not sell? It means you're not going to get annual awards. So managers started being a little bit itchy about this. So they ordered research and said, we need to check what's actually happened because data show that all was fine. So what happened? So what we did, we decided that on the beginning they told us that we need to go to consumers to talk to them about the loan. So what we decided to do is that we decided to go to the bank and look what's happening in the bank. So we're just sitting, and this is very often we do with the banks. So we're just working as like their interns next to the people who give this loan, and we're looking what they're actually doing. So what they were doing that was very interesting, because every time somebody came to ask for the loan, they were saying, you know what, bank around the corner has much better loan. So maybe it's just better for you to go there. That was pretty shocking, because it's not common things that happen. Like, as a person who do like really a lot of banks, and it's not that everybody's behaving like this. So that was interesting why they actually did it. So what we discovered is that Poland is very, unfortunately, Catholic country. Unfortunately, in a way that a religion does influence our behavior and our action, and becomes really, really important. So they said Jesus would not support it because, you know, it's a very bad loan. And I get just $10 if I recommend this loan, if I sell this loan. What is it, $10? I'm not going to take sin on myself with just $10. It's usually because main consumers were older people. So for older people, I'm not going to do it. $10, not enough. So our recommendation was very simple. It was not a problem with the loan. It was a problem with the mindset of employees, that first of all, they did believe that they're doing something wrong. They did believe this loan is not good. And this is very often happens in many, many organizations when we do research. If employees does not believe it's good, they're not going to like do it with the same intention. And we just recently did a huge project on a beer company. It's the same question, like why these people who are like selling our beer, why they're not doing as good job as marketing does for them, like to put these posters and stuff, because they don't believe is the product is good or marketing is good, so they just ignore it. So here we have a simple solution. We say, well, first you need to explain what is it. Like, we need to explain that this loan is not like you just putting these people into like the worst situation ever that they're going to pay for the rest of their life for this loan. So we explain them and compare it with other banks and show that this loan is actually a pretty good product. And then what we did, we just tell them to increase this 5 times the award for this loan. So when they increased 5 times and it was, you know, $50, suddenly the loans. And that's why we believe that, you know, companies need more psychologists and less salespeople. The solution, again, is like, of course, 5 times more award is a lot of work, but it's better to give 5 times for selling something than not to have any sales and not to have any awards for yourself. Also, because in the end of the day, managers are responsible what kind of products they launch. So this is another example that people lie, proof doesn't. And we need to look for it further. So it's not only these people here, consumers who are lying, but one of my recommendations for you is always start with yourself. Every time we have a brief for research, we almost always, if it's new client, recommend research from inside first. Especially if your company has salespeople, it's always better to start from yourself. First of all, it's much cheaper. It's much faster. It's going like it's working as a motivation for these people because they believe you trust them, and they believe like you believe that they have something to say, that they have a voice. So it always works really well. And then very often, we don't even have to do consumer research, or we can reduce our budget for consumer research. So if you can, what your company is and how you're going to manage it. But I'm still going to say one more. We almost till the end. MTV was our client for many years. And MTV had a couple of problems, and one of the problems was that they did not know what programs to continue. And they have two programs that they were not sure what to do. When they did traditional research, what they said that the Polish people hate American TV shows. TV shows, you know, this like My Sweet 16, like, you know this, right? Or Jersey Shore, like something that's super embarrassing. So everybody was saying they hate it. Like, and it does make sense. Like, you're watching and you feel like it's insulting your intelligence, like horrible thing. And another thing that they have, they also said that they hate, it was Polish music that calls disco polo. And they have all the time like this program that is absolutely insulting that MTV is doing something like this. I'm not going to torture you anymore. So what is said in the research that they hate it, and it does make sense because it's absolutely like aesthetically something not for any like reasonable person. But the problem is that MTV has numbers, and the numbers showed that nothing was viewed more than this disco polo and American TV shows. Nothing. And unfortunately, till this day, nothing is viewed more than disco polo. So the question is like, so they said, like, should we take it out or put more? Like, what should we do with this? We have consumers who say, I hate it, and we have numbers who say, we love it. So I know you said that India is like, everything what is true is also not true, but it's not like this in Poland. So they wanted to have one true only. So what we decided to do, we decided to do very, very long observation. It was one of the longest research we ever done, because to do media is very difficult. Because people are completely not self-aware what to do, so we need to spend with them a lot of time. So we have 3 days, 5 days break when they had to do some special ethno-diaries, and then 3 days again. And what was interesting, so when we were being with them, with the friends, they were telling us exactly the same. They hate it. Like, it's disgusting, it's not intelligent, they hate it. But then when we came back home with them after the school, after the university, they just started watching it. And we're saying, what are you doing? He told us you don't like it. He said, I don't. I'm not watching, I'm resting my brain. And why is it important? Because it's not only semantics. We did segmentation of 11 stages which people are during the day about the needs of viewing. So if you ask, do you like it? They're going to say, I don't. Do you watch it? They say, I don't. Because for them, it's not watching. Watching is Game of Thrones. Disco polo is resting my brain. And it was very crucial to understand, because this way we can adjust to the time of the day when they need to watch rest the brain, and when they really want to watch something. So that was very important. And this way we could decide how actually to adjust this program to these people and how to talk to them. And it was many other categories when they say that we're not really watching, we're just doing something else. And we discover also the reason why, and that is also very important, because the reason why they're watching all these American TV shows, because I don't know if you ever watch, like I'm sure you did, but you're not going to admit, so I'm not going to even ask you if you did it, because it is embarrassing. But you watch it and you feel like, my God, Americans are stupid. And you suddenly feel smarter. And you suddenly feel your life is not that bad. And you suddenly feel that your country is not that bad. And everything is fine, you know? So that's why it's crucial to understand that it's important that we need to read between the lines. We need to read for people saying, when we talk a lot about segmentation and a lot about like human segmentation, we need to have, first of all, segmentation of how people think, and treat them more as humans and less as consumers. And if we have segmentation of the thoughts, of the mind, then it's going to be much easier for us. So if you want to become human lie detector, I have 3 things that I would love you to remember, and try to use it if you can, whether it's working in your department, in your company, or demanding it from your research or advertising agency. So you don't ask, you watch. First of all, there is a reason why we have 2 eyes and just 1 mouth. We should talk less and watch more. And we should be masters in observation. Don't trust, for everything we should check. No evidence, we don't consider it even as anything that is can we put in our brief? Always evidence. And last thing is we don't talk, we provoke. We should provoke behavior so we can observe what's actually happening. And that is what's important, because humans do not change too fast, so they're very slow in how they change. If you catch the truth about human nature, you're going to have knowledge for a long time. And finishing already my presentation, what I want to tell you, the last story, how I personally, when I did research, when we did about men and women and their sexuality, and I went to sex shop, the oldest sex shop in Poland, and asked women who set up this sex shop 25 years ago during communism time, and said, well, do you see any changes, like women, men, do they change anything with the behavior, with their requests? Yes. It's like women change a lot. Now we have old lady 85, and she's kind of like give me this big one because I deserve one. No shame. So she's just she's a proud woman and she wants it. And I said, did anything change with the man? She's like, oh no, men stay the same, altruists. I was like, how come men are altruists? Because they're always buying for the friend. This is how you know that you need to always look for the evidence and for the source and to understand how people think. So thank you so much, and I hope you find in your truth my truth, and you will find time and bravery to use some of the psychology of lies in your everyday work. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for that presentation. We have a few questions.
Please don't call me anymore like this, please.
You introduced yourself to me as that. Okay, let's get some questions. Let's start with the most provocative question. Saurabh Saluja from Star India says, since your husband is here today, would you like to tell him when was the last time you caught him lying?
Well, this is a good question because my husband is so bad in lying, so bad that it's not even worth for him to lie, because he's just I immediately know when he's lying. So I think if I did not caught him, he's probably, this finally one time was very good, but he's already learned not to lie.
All right. Sudeep asks, how much have you lied during this presentation? How many lies did you tell us today?
Well, it's if I had to come here to tell lies, what was the point? I know the lying is very energetic, cost not effective. If you lie, you have to remember different stuff. And I want you to use the psychology of lies. So from my perspective, I wanted to tell you all the truth so you can start looking for truth. My obsession with lies comes from my love from the truth,
That's a good answer. Okay, Rahul from BCCL asks, what is the single most fascinating lie that you have come across in your life?
That is a very good question, because one of the things that I was fascinated, when every time we do research, I'm thinking, I know already, we do it for 13 years. So every time I'm afraid that it's going to be this time when I'm never going to discover anything new, anything fascinating, because I already do it for so long. But I have to tell you, people are absolutely amazing in the way they're being wired, and every time it's something new. And the lies are just so subtle and so put in a context, from the fact that when we recruit people and they say, no, I don't have any children. So you come they have children, it's obvious. Anybody who of you have children, you can't hide it. You can't do your apartment. From the things I'm going to talk a lot about this tomorrow in the workshops. If you can come out, you're really welcome. When on social media they post photos and say I love motorbikes. And we have a researcher who was Mr. of Poland, Miss of Poland in this motorbiking. And it was just a scooter, So, and he was posting all these photos and pretending that he's such a macho. And from my perspective, what is fascinating about lies, that it's part of us. I love when people lie, because I know that this is a weak point where they're trying to hide something. That's why I want you to be also fascinated with lies, not judging it, but be fascinating. We need to cover something that is so weak for us, or so sensitive. This is why we're lying. And I'm not so sensitive, that's why I don't have to lie.
All right. Simran Sardana asks, she's a marketer, I presume. If you're a marketer, you're sitting in a meeting with your research agency. Yeah. Are there any tools to tell if the research agency is lying to you?
You need to ask for evidence.
That's a good question, Simran.
You need to ask for evidence. If your researcher is telling you something, because researchers have this tendency to give immediately recommendations. And you can't give recommendation. I'm also going to talk about this on the workshop. First, you need to give a description of what's happening. Then you need to have a proof. And then you can talk about recommendation. So if your agency is skipping to recommendation, they probably do not have enough data. And you should dig more. Evidence. Evidence first.
Okay. So Julia, you gave us something without evidence. And Srinivas from Liber. Srinivas, if you're around, you get the prize for the best question of this session. Right? And Srinivas's question, are you here, Srinivas? Oh, good. You get a prize. Go to Sudeep and collect your prize after this question. Srinivas asks, why is writing a Q with the arm on the left, why does that indicate that we are natural born liars? You didn't give us any proof.
Yeah, I don't know why I did not tell you. I usually should tell it. It's excellent questions. Thank you. When it's Q on the left, we are already thinking how other person is going to read it. So we already think about manipulating this person and think about them, not about ourselves. Naturally, we write it in a way that is on the right, so it's comfortable for us. But when you're already thinking about deception, we are already thinking how to manipulate someone. This is how we immediately, while talking, changing our truth. And this is how you actually can always cut somebody on lying, because that's why lying is so difficult for our brain, because it uses so much energy, because we need to think how to convert it. And natural liars do not use too much energy for this. They just quick to say what they want because they know what makes other person tick. So thank you very much for reminding me what I forgot to say.